Swamiji, this is a question from devotee. As a Paramahamsa, you can exercise compassion, but as the head of an organization of where thousands of followers' lives are affected, does compassion as a strategy still work?
Nice question, long question. Just pass that paper. I'll answer. As a Paramahamsa, you can exercise compassion. But as the head of an organization of where thousands of followers' lives are affected, does compassion as a strategy still work? We need to understand few things. I tell you, not only as a Paramahamsa, even as the head of the organization, compassion is the best strategy. Ahimsa is the best strategy to handle this whole crisis. I can look at this from various angles. Understand, all of you understand. Just because of my compassion and non-violence, ahimsa only, we have just recovered immediately. We don't have the load or necessity to take revenge on anybody. We don't need to waste our time, energy, resource on taking revenge on anybody. We have recovered. Understand? See, we have recovered. Now all we need to do is continue what we were doing. Just start the spiritual classes, programs, start giving the spiritual experiences to the people. We have recovered. Unfortunately, if I had some vengeance in my heart, the secret plans to take revenge, we will be wasting all our time, energy, resources in that. We wouldn't have recovered from this whole crisis. Understand? Just because of my compassion, we have recovered. Non-violence, we have recovered. You guys are yet to understand the non-violence and compassion as a greatest strategy. So many ways I can make you understand. One, just be practical. If you guys carry vengeance, if we carry violence inside the heart, what are we going to do? It's a big diversion from the purpose of our life. It's waste of energy. I tell you, life gets fulfilled only by creation and creativity, not by destruction. If anybody who spends his time and energy towards destruction, destroying somebody or some organization, naturally will feel an utter depression and failure, emptiness, even if he is successful in destroying the person or the organization. Please understand, if destroying some organization or person is your motive, even if you are successful in that, you will only feel empty and depressed. Because life, by its very nature, celebrates, feels elated, excited, joyful, ecstatic only when you create, not when you destroy. So understand, any destruction, any enmity, any violence is waste of energy, diversion of energy. Naturally, diversion of energy is waste of energy. Waste of energy is depression and suffering. So I tell you, be very clear, not only as Paramahamsa, even as the head of this Nityananda Dhyana Peetham, of course, which I resigned, which I am not now, even as a spiritual guide of a huge spiritual organization and millions of disciples, I tell you, compassion and non-violence is the best strategy to handle all the crises. That is why, I tell you, that is why we are not wasting any resource, any energy, any time, any mental thinking in taking revenge on anybody. We are just up, doing our job, running our life, practically you see, consciously, the whole ashram, whole devotees are out of this whole scandal, out of this whole trauma, out of this whole suffering. Why? Because we don't carry the secret plans to take revenge. If anybody who carries vengeance or secret plans to take revenge will not be out of the trauma for a long time. For a long time, that person will be carrying that suffering. So I tell you, and not only that, see, everybody knows Swamiji will not hurt people. Everybody knows at the most he will only protect himself and organization. That's all, nothing else. Nothing else. See, even to say yes for all our defensive strategy created by lawyers, it took so much time for me, because I went on scrutinizing every strategy that even 1 inch of suffering should not be caused to anybody who cherish enmity towards us. People who are bent on destroying me and our organization, I was very clear even to them, do not cause any suffering. We have a right to protect ourselves, to defend our Sangha. We have no right to add suffering to anybody. Understand? It's an important truth. Life, when it happened to you, it is a gift, and you have no right to add suffering to the world. A master has a right to cause suffering to people at only one place as tapas. Means, when people come and surrender their life to me and ask for enlightenment, when I give them the technique for enlightenment and train them for enlightenment, that time the tapas, that hardship is allowed. That is the only hardship which is allowed to be caused. And there also only tapas can be done. Ava cannot be done. Tapa, tavam. Tava is different, tavam is different, avam is different. In Tamil there is a beautiful 2 words. Tavam means the hardship for enlightenment. Avam means the suffering for no reason. Suffering for no reason is not allowed. When people come to me and surrender their life and ask for enlightenment or technique, or beg me to take them through the process towards enlightenment, at that time those hardships can be given. That's all. As a part of the enlightenment process. Other than that, I have no right to cause any suffering to anybody. Same way, all the people who feel themselves as part of me has no right to cause any physical or mental suffering to anybody. Whenever I initiate an acharya, teacher, I tell them, from now you dedicate your tongue, Vak Shakti, to the cosmos. You have no right to utter any abusive, wrong, negative words, even if you are abused. That's what I call impractical compassion. No, we are bound to the vow of impractical compassion. Even though it looks impractical, we are bound to the vow of impractical compassion. That's why I always tell people, when you are initiated as a healer, from now you can do only good through your 2 hands, because both your hands are surrendered to God. You can't do anything wrong, negative, through that hands. When you are initiated as Acharya, you surrender your vak, the tongue, to the God. You can't use any abusive and violent word towards anybody. It has to be only with full of compassion. Understand? Same way, when you are initiated as a Jivan Mukta, you can't use anything of you, whether body, mind or words, anything to hurt anybody, to be violent. You have to be compassionate. It can be used only for non-violence and ahimsa. So, we are bound to the impractical compassion. Please be very clear. I tell you from my heart, it works. Even though it feels like for practicality, compassion does not work as a strategy, I tell you, compassion and non-violence works as a strategy for any crisis. See, everybody knows that Swamiji will not hurt others. At the most, he may defend himself, protect his Sangha, that's all. That itself is a big freedom. People who cherish enmity towards us does not need to be afraid of us. So naturally, slowly, they will also start thinking, when he is not threat to us, what is there, leave it. Slowly, they will also withdraw from enmity. It may take little time, but I tell you, this is the best strategy. And not only that, I am setting up a trend, sending a strong message to our Sangha, to our millions of disciples around the world who are with us now, and the millions of disciples who are going to come now towards me. For all of them, I am setting up a trend. Our Sangha will not be violent at any crisis. We will be compassionate and non-violent at every moment. In all crises, I am sending a strong message. I am setting a trend. Please understand, we are not going to die. We have a great future. Millions, billions are going to follow our teachings, going to become part of our Sangha. We are going to grow in a huge way. There is a great future for our organization. So now itself, I want to set a trend. Whatever society you may exist, whichever country you may live in, wherever you may be practicing my teachings, living with me and creating the Sangha, let all of you understand, compassion and ahimsa is going to be the basic strategy planning method. The base material, base for all our strategy planning. So I wanted to set the trend now itself, so that I will attract only this kind of people as a part of my Sangha. See, now what kind of trend we set, that kind of people are only going to come to us. Whoever feels connected to that idea are only going to come to us. So I am very clear. I want only the people who are ready for the extraordinary compassion as part of me and my Sangha. I want only the people who are completely non-violent as part of me and my Sangha. So I am, by setting a trend of being completely compassionate and non-violent and non-resistant, I am sending a strong message, even though it is impractical. I am sending a strong message to people. I want only this kind of people as part of me and my Sangha in future. See, there are so many people who left me because I told them to be non-violent and compassionate. One big risk, stopping the people's anger towards the so-called enemies, people who cherish enmity with us. See, we don't have any enemy. We don't cherish enmity with anybody. People who cherish enmity with us, stopping our disciples' enmity towards them was a big risk, because that enmity has started turning towards me. I have seen in many cases, when I told many of our disciples, when they were raged with anger and full of anger to hurt the people who cherish enmity with us, I told them, no, relax, settle down, be silent. Then I saw their anger has started turning towards me. Of course, it was risky game. It was difficult strategy. But I tell you, I am only interested in people who are completely established in extraordinary compassion. That's why I am using the word impractical compassion and non-violence and non-resistance to be part of me and my organization. Understand? because of this extraordinary compassion, extraordinary non-violence, I am telling you, extraordinary non-resistance, the whole scandal did not stay in our inner space for a long time. It just took only few days for us to recover. We have completely recovered. People who come here, the other day I was talking to one media person, one journalist. He told me, Swamiji, I am not surprised by how you recovered from this whole trauma and how, because I feel you are not even touched. But I am really shocked, all your young brahmacharis and brahmacharinis, disciples who have been abused left and right. He was telling, because it is not that only you have been abused, all your photos have appeared in all kinds of yellow journals, and what to say that, all kinds of abusals you guys also went through, all kinds of misinformations and abusals, rumors, everything you guys also went through. He was telling me, all the disciples, all your disciples, even they, after going through so much, I am not seeing the trace of suffering in them, they just recovered. How can this whole community recoup and recover in such a short time from such a big religious persecution? That's the right word, religious persecution. How did we recover? Just because of one important reason. Inside our heart, we do not carry secret plans to take revenge on the people who cherish enmity with us and who are still bent on destroying me and our Sangha. See, not having violence in the system liberates you consciously, and you just start flowing towards creation, creativity. So understand, creativity brings fulfillment. Fulfillment naturally brings you out of any trauma. I tell you, if you are caught in trauma, all you need is learn little compassion and forgiving, non-violence. You will just be out of it. And world is too big. World is too big, understand? Let me look into this whole thing little more deeply. There are two kinds of people who are attacking us. See, we make two claims. One, God can be realized in human body. First amendment, we can call it. The second amendment, I realized it. Third amendment, I will be able to help you to realize it. These are the three declarations we are making. See, there is one group which does not believe that I will be able to transmit that experience to others. Because of that, they have hatred. They start cherishing enmity. There is another one group which does not believe the second claim, that I realized it in myself. There is another one group which does not believe even the first claim, that God can be realized in human body. So please understand, these are the three different groups which cherishes enmity towards us. In some of you cherish enmity towards the people who don't trust the third statement, but usually the people who don't trust the third statement do not abuse us. They just, okay, he is there and we are there, it's okay. The third, people who don't trust the third statement, they just continue their life. People who don't trust the second statement means that I experienced it in my body. They abuse me. But they accept the first statement. There are people who don't accept even the first statement. They try to destroy us and our organization. You understand? Understand the whole thing clearly. Only then you will understand the value of compassion in handling all these three people. See, with us, because of our compassion, we have no problem with all these three teams. We can coexist with all three of them. But unfortunately, they cannot coexist with us. In the life, there is an important truth. person who is ready for coexistence only as a right to live. Understand? Person who is ready for coexistence as only right to live. In the cosmic law, whoever is ready to coexist only as a right to live. So please understand, just because of our compassion, we have a right to live in the cosmos. Just because of their enmity, they will have their problem. Why are you guys bothered? Don't bother. And don't even feel they should have their problems. If they have their problems, feel how can we help them? How can we see that they feel relieved, they are relieved from their problems? How can we stand by them when they have the problems? Understand? There are only two groups in the world. One who can coexist with everybody, the other group who can't tolerate somebody. Even if you can't tolerate one person, the more and more and more enmity you cherish towards him, you can't tolerate him or people related to him, you will see you are creating hell in your life. World is too small. Whoever you can't tolerate will be crisscrossing your life again and again. World is too small. There's a beautiful story I always tell. A guy was asked to take a medicine without remembering a monkey. If he was not told, he wouldn't have remembered a monkey. Just because he should not remember a monkey, he goes on remembering a monkey, and in few minutes, the more he tries to avoid monkey, he is filled with monkey. And he is surrounded by monkeys. So understand, a guy who cherishes enmity towards somebody or some organization and tries to destroy them, tries to abuse them, will be constantly suffering the presence of the other. When you suffer the presence of the other, you are in hell. When you coexist with everybody's presence, you are in heaven. So it is you who is responsible for creating hell or heaven. So understand, compassion makes your life heaven. And only a person who is ready to coexist has right to exist in the cosmos. So, if you look deeply into the whole thing, because of our compassion, we have a right to exist. If we also lose our compassion, start cherishing enmity towards this three group, any one group, then we also lose the right to exist. We also lose the right to exist. Then why should we exist? Why should we exist? As long as you are right and you have right to exist, exist. If you are not right or you don't have right to exist, just disappear. Just disappear. At least the planet Earth will not suffer and get suffocated with this huge population. Let us not be load on the planet Earth. Let us not be Bhubara, means load on the earth. Let us be very clear. As long as we are right and we have a right to exist, let us exist. Compassion, ready to coexist with everybody. That is the basic quality for the right to exist. We don't have problem. Even though they have the three different ideas. As I said, first claim, first declaration we make, God can be realized in human body. The second claim we make, I realize that in my body. The third claim we make, I can help you to experience the same in your body. The group which does not believe that I can help them to experience the same in their body, they just continue their life. They don't abuse. They believe that first two statement, but they don't feel connected to the third statement. They continue their life. They say, oh no, it's okay. He will not be helpful for us. Let us do our life. That's perfect. Second thing, the group which does not believe the second statement, that he realized that divinity in his body. So that group only starts abusing us, start criticizing us, abusing us. So we don't have a problem with that group also. It's okay. And the third, the very basis, God cannot be realized in the human body at all, who does not feel connected, does not believe even that main statement, they try to destroy us, not just abusing us, destroy us. Even with them we don't have a problem. We say world is too big, let you preach what you believe, let me preach what we believe. You see, even the atheism is a belief. How can you say there is no God as if you searched all over the world and found out? You never been to ocean, under the water, under the ocean, and still there are so places in the hills in Himalayas and the places in the ocean under the Pacific Ocean unexplored, untouched by human beings. Who knows whether God is sitting there or not? So even the atheism is a kind of a belief. So you teach your belief, we will teach our belief. We don't have a problem, we can coexist. Person who has ability to coexist, who feels like coexisting, has a right to coexist, and he has to exist because he is the salt of the earth. He is the juice of the earth. He should exist, he should survive, and because we need to show the world with compassion you can survive still in this cutthroat world, in this competitive world, in this planet earth. In 2010 you can exist having compassion as a strategy planning for your life. We may not be accepted by the people who cherish enmity towards us, but we don't bother. This is our strategy planning. Non-violence and compassion should be our strategy planning. Next.